Council members, thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of the proposed microloan program. My name is Markus Larrson, and I'm representing Life Asset, where I serve as the executive director. Life Asset is a non-profit organization with a mission to provide microloans and training to low-income entrepreneurs. Our clients face many life challenges. For example, 100% of our loan clients are low income and don't qualify for a business loan at a bank or a credit union. 55% are unemployed, 23% are seniors, 12% are disabled, 75% are immigrants, and 13% of our clients are homeless. There is a large part of our community who have great experience and skills, but for various reasons have difficulties finding or keeping a full-time job. Through microloans and training, we are able to invest in the entrepreneurial spirit and make a lasting difference. For example, in the past 12 months, we have helped start or expand over 100 microbusinesses in Montgomery County by providing microloans coupled with training to entrepreneurs who are having difficulties qualifying for a loan anywhere else. Over 98% repay their loans in full. On average, our clients see a 33% increase in annual revenue. Over 90% of the businesses we have supported are still in operation after 2 years. Finally, each microbusiness that we support with loans and training employs on average 2.5 people, counting temporary and seasonal jobs. The positive impact of our work is not just financial, but also leads to a greater sense of self-worth and dignity, a sense of belonging and hope for the future. The impact of our work is not just on our clients, but also on their families and friends and the community at large. Our goal for 2017 is to double our impact by helping to create or expand at least 200 microbusinesses, which will create or retain over 400 jobs, counting temporary and seasonal jobs in Montgomery County. Our goal in 6 to 7 years is to support an active network of over 1,000 microbusinesses in Montgomery County. Council President Berliner, our experience at Life Asset makes me confident that the proposed legislation for a microloan program will help expand existing businesses and start new businesses, creating more jobs in Montgomery County. May I make one more point? Even very small loans, $1,500 or less, can make a big difference in the success of new entrepreneurs. In my written testimony, I have given several examples of how these nano loans, that we call them, and what kind of impact they have on individuals and families and the community at large. Council President Berliner, every day at Life Asset, I'm inspired by people who have very little money, but who strive for better lives by becoming entrepreneurs and by growing their businesses. The proposed microloan program will be tapping into that same entrepreneurial spirit. On behalf of Life Asset's clients, I welcome to the community of entrepreneurs the new businesses that this microloan program will help create and expand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Leventhal.
So, Mr. Larrson, do you have a revolving fund?
Yes.
And what's its size?
Currently, since our average loan is $1,100, the size roughly now is a little bit more than 200,000. So currently we have 205 active borrowers, and with average roughly 1,000 or 1,050, I don't remember the last number. We don't need that much money, but it is doubling every year, so we will need more capital as we grow. Mm-hmm. And the loan size, the average loan size is also growing every year, because once the loan is repaid, the loan amount can increase. So currently the average loan is 1,050, but every year we see the average loan size increase about 30%.
So, Mr. President, what is the capitalization that you envision Bill 4916 setting up?
Mr. Leventhal, that'll obviously be a budget question for us, okay? But what had been proposed by staff and recommended, and what I discussed with my colleagues, is a $500,000 initial program.
And it would be put out to bid for organizations like Mr. Larrson's organization.
Exactly,
and
an LEDC, exactly.
to
So
administer.
organizations that have a track record would respond to an RFP to demonstrate their competency with respect to doing this work, their track record with respect to doing this work, and then we would award, as appropriate, those people who have demonstrated the greatest skill in doing it.
So in effect, it would be capitalizing an existing program if it was already Mr. Larrson's or LEDC or some other.
Absolutely. We're not making this up. We are building on the good work that has been out there today.
Thank you.
Ms. Florine?
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Larrson, that's very interesting testimony. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
You provide support to entrepreneurs throughout the region?
Yes, to the greater Washington area, and about half of our clients are in Montgomery County.
About half. So
Yes.
you said you have about 400 out in Montgomery County now, or is that your goal?
The goal, our goal for next year is 200 loans or 200
200.
entrepreneurs. Currently, we have a little bit more than 100.
And we'll probably want to follow up with you in terms of the your staffing and the like.
Yes, we are, because about half of our entrepreneurs are in Montgomery County, we plan in this year to set up an office here. Currently, we support our entrepreneurs by using public space and space at our some of our partner organizations. Our goal is to set up an office here.
So you provide, do you provide training
Yes.
and all that?
Yes, it's pretty extensive training. We most of our training, and that's where we complement many of our partner organizations. Our training is focused after the loan is provided. I'm not sure if you have heard about Grameen Bank lending model. The founder of Grameen Bank got the Nobel Peace Prize a few years ago and has helped millions of primarily very, very poor women around the world. We have modified that model to work here in this area.
Cool.
So we are building on a proven model developed over 30 years.
Are you aware of other programs like this operating here?
Not in this area, not using the Grameen Bank lending model.
Not that approach, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Larrson, I want to thank you too, because you were one of, among those that really inspired us with respect to going forward with this work. I just want to again point to my colleagues. 13% of their loans go to homeless people, and they have a repayment rate of 98%. Do you want to give voice to how you are able to do that? Because I thought your social accountability piece was
Yes.
really very, very compelling.
Yes, that's the key. So to get a loan, we don't ask for collateral or credit score, but we ask each entrepreneur to form a group of 5 entrepreneurs, including themselves. Minimum to start is 3 entrepreneurs. And here's the trick. If someone is in default, it affects everyone else. So the social collateral is very strong. We have higher repayment rate than banks.
Say it again for the public record.
We have higher repayment rate than banks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really quite extraordinary. So,
And if I can add also an important part, another reason is that our loans are so small and spread over a relatively long period. So each installment is manageable. So we say we give responsible loans, and that's a loan that you can pay back.
so there's been question with respect to the quote administrative costs associated with this program. Somehow you've managed to
Yeah,
address
sure.
that. So would you care to give voice to that piece?
Yes, very good question. Our goal is to be self-sustainable in 6 to 7 years. And the cost per business is a key indicator for us. The first loan that we provided in 2012, I think the cost per business was like $7,000. Now it's down to $1,000. And our goal in 6 to 7 years is to bring it down to $300 per business. That includes the administration and training. And we can reach that low because of the green lending model. The group, for groups, for each group there's a group leader. Each group belongs to a center with 40 entrepreneurs. And it's by using this network of entrepreneurs that we can keep our costs low.
Mr. Katz?
Thank you, and I'm very proud that I'm actually a co-sponsor of this, but do you charge interest? How does that work with you?
Yes, we do. We charge 6% interest rate. And
6%?
6% on a declining basis, so they just pay on the remaining balance. They pay part of the loan every other week, or twice per month, I should say.
Everybody would do that. I mean, you're paying interest on your reclining balance.
Say that.
Everyone who's got a loan pays it on the reclining balance.
If you compare with a payday lender.
No, well, that's very different.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. Yeah. Go ahead. I interrupted you, but so.
No, you didn't. So thank you.
So you charge 6%, and what is the length or the age? How long do you make the loan for? What's the age of the loan?
Right. You can pay back the loan anytime you want without any fee, but the minimum time for us to renew the loan is 3 months. The traditional loan is over 1 year. So if you take a $1,000 loan over 1 year and you pay back the loan in biweekly installments, each installment becomes manageable. And if an entrepreneur has problems, we are very flexible in refinancing the loan, extending it or saying that, okay, I understand you're homeless and you just had a heart attack. You can't pursue your street vending business right now. Recover, start to pay in 3 months again. And we have this case. This is a real case. So we are flexible except one area. The loan has to be paid back.
Okay, thank you.
And can I add one more thing that has a very strong impact, and that is that these loan repayments are reported to the credit bureaus. So at the same time, we help entrepreneurs, which help them not just access the financial mainstream, but a recent report I read was that 65% of employers check their credit score. So it helps them obviously with the housing market, but also the job market.
Ms. Navarro?
Thank you. And Mr. Larrson, I had an opportunity to visit your office in D.C. in the Adams Morgan neighborhood and was able to hear and meet 3 of the entrepreneurs. And I have to tell you that the one thing that I walked away from that meeting feeling so energized, because the social component is really powerful. And, to hear the stories of a homeless gentleman who didn't think that he had any chance, but had this extraordinary talent and this real incredible potential, and that only needed, $1,500 or something to that extent to get a license, and see this person now be self-sufficient and looking to hire. There was a lady who is a seamstress, and she is making extraordinarily beautiful African textile types of garments, and very proud of her also being able to offer job opportunities to people in our community. And so to me, this has always been a very important component of our economic development story in Montgomery County, because they seem to fly under the radar. And they're not folks who necessarily, unless they have these informal networks, don't necessarily get to have access to that very small amount of money. And so when I started looking and thinking, looking into and computing the social cost, what we have to spend as taxpayers to address issues of social service, for example, programs and supports, this to me made so much sense. And it reminded me of my one visit to Haiti right after the earthquake. And the one thing that struck me most is that I would hear all these stories and see everything on CNN and all of that about Haiti. And throughout my whole entire time, only once did somebody come up to the car to ask for money. The rest of the time, there were people coming to offer something to sell. It could be tangerines or a pineapple, or because the dignity of feeling that, look, I'm not begging you for money, I'm just trying to do my best as a very, micro entrepreneur really struck me. And I feel that that is part of the spirit here that we have not necessarily addressed appropriately. So I really commend what you have done. And I hope that as we work through, this bill, that it becomes very clear that this is not one more governmental sort of big, bureaucracy type thing that we're trying to do, but that people like you have already done this, have extraordinary indicators of success. And I think we, as you mentioned, have quite a bit of need here in our county because the demand is half of your clients are Montgomery County residents. Obviously, it shows that we have to do something. So thank you so much for hosting, that visit. And I would ask my colleagues if they haven't yet to definitely come down and visit. And hopefully you have an office here soon too, so
Yes.
it won't be so hard to go all the way down there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Eldridge.
So first of all, thank you for the presentation. It's really helpful. How does your organization fund it? Since obviously that much interest on that little money doesn't yield a lot of operating capital.
Right. We started off based on a faith community in Washington, D.C. And out of there, it grew to more individuals, to building a track record so we could start to get grants from foundations. More recently, and now our biggest donor base are banks like Citibank, TD Bank, E-Trade Bank, Wells Fargo, Capital One. Also, last year, for the first time, we received a government grant from DC. And we also received a loan from the Small Business Administration to help us expand the loan fund.
Cool. Do you have information on the incomes, annual incomes of the people you help?
We take that information in our loan applications and 25 other parameters. Are you asking for the income from the business or from jobs?
No, for the people who get loans. What are their incomes look like?
Right. I am blanking on the average number right now, but it is below the 80%, the low-income measures that HUD releases. It's one of our requirements that they are low-income, and also that they don't qualify for a loan at a bank or a credit union. The fact that they come to us and go through this process is self-selective of being low-income and not having access to money anywhere else. If they would qualify for a loan or a credit card or a bigger loan, they would go there. So just the product or service itself that we offer naturally provide us with clients that are naturally low-income. Else they wouldn't come to us. And our requirements are to form a group and meet regularly for training and support.
Well, I mean, I'd be interested in a little more detail on that. I mean, one of the things that both interests me, but I think is a question I have about the micro side of this, is that a lot of the micro things that wind up giving people very little money, more than they had, but still not enough to get themselves beyond where they are.
Right.
And some of the people who have ideas for businesses could go to another step, but that's not a step that they need assistance from a micro loan from, but they need to be able to then go. It's almost like levels in an incubator,
Right.
And people needing different levels of services. So I'm interested in how this might fit in a series of things that help people graduate from step to step, because I'm not interested in leaving people at the bottom, but if I can get people the skills and the experience that they can step up, that's really important.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And that's how we see ourselves. We are a stepping stone. We are happy when people graduate for a bigger loan somewhere else. And our credit reporting and our initial loan, they can increase that over time and at the same time increase the chances to qualify for a bigger loan.
Mr. Katz?
And I'll be very quick. The money that the DC gives you, does that have to stay in DC?
Yes.
How does that work?
Yeah.
So if Montgomery County's funds would stay in Montgomery County, is that, I mean, it could be as part of this legislation.
I expect an RFP would require that.